Are the Hounds calling? We'll see what happens next week. But welcome, everybody. This is the Club of the Band 1993 coming at you for another live review of Monday Night Raw. We're going to take a look back at the Raw that happened on October 2nd, 2017, the first Raw of October in 2017 that took place in Denver, Colorado, home of the Colorado Rockies, who are going to be in the wild card playoff game this week. Wish them the best of luck. Even though my pick is for the Diamondbacks to win, I have nothing against the Rockies winning at all. So anybody who's from Colorado watching this, I'll be happy with both teams. I just think the Diamondbacks have a better chance. But if you want to hear about that stuff, check out my my earlier live stream of the postseason predictions for the Major League Baseball season. So getting into Raw tonight. Overall, better show than last week. It was still a little back and forth, but things that were there's only one match that I thought was kind of low, like that I just thought was completely boring. But most of your stuff that was just more so meh, like it was not terrible, but it was just like nothing too amazing. But then we did get some pretty interesting stuff that happened tonight. So we'll see what happens though, and that's my family watching the football game downstairs. But let's get right into it. We started off, and first, before we get started, Raw did a great dedication of a moment of silence for the victims of the Las Vegas mass shooting. There was a terrible incident where a 64-year-old man shot and hurt a lot of people were injured. About 500 people were injured. Last 159 were pronounced dead, which is very unfortunate this event happened. So before we get started, let's just dedicate a quick little moment of silence for the victims of the Las Vegas mass shooting. Thank you, guys. Okay, so let's get right into it here. We're going to start off, and we actually start off Raw, besides with that little dedication, with a match. It was broadcasted last week. It was Seth Rollins taking on Braun Strowman. Overall, this match was, it was a pretty solid match. It's just another match to help, Braun rebound after his loss against Brock. So what we're going to do with him at TLC. But, this is a good match. Seth, definitely, like Dean did last week, Seth did take Braun to the limit as well, slipping around there. This is slick moving guy Seth is. Strowman does eventually get the win with the running power slam, and after the match, he goes back and he hits him with another power slam. But then Dean Ambrose comes out and makes a save, and then Braun hits several choke slams, and then eventually hit a running power slam. And after he was walking out comes Sheamus and Cesaro, or as they're being more emphasized as, the Bars show up, and they hit the neutralizer on Ambrose, and they hit a bro kick on Rollins. So it was, kind of a little, at first I'm like, scratching my head, it's like, aren't these guys done with each other yet? Because I thought, to me, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing them have another match again, like Ambrose and Rollins against Cesaro and Sheamus. They've had good matches, but after, of course, last week with Rollins beating Sheamus clean, to me, it was just kind of tough for me to think, why would they want another shot at them? I mean, you could make the argument the match they had No Mercy was good, and they did make Cesaro and Sheamus look like the more dominating team. It looked like that they had a shot to win, and it probably gave them a little bit more momentum going into, if they would continue on with this match. But we'll continue on with them a little bit later. I didn't want to be too nitpicky on this. It's just thinking logically, like, okay, they already beat them twice. Why would they want to go after them again? They've pretty much proven them they're a better team. But then I think back, again, Cesaro and Sheamus did, for the most part, have a good showing against them in the second match as well. So, but again, we'll talk about them a little bit later on, because they were probably the big story of the night. So then we have this backstage segment. Mickie James is walking around. She's dressed in her ring gear, so she's going to be getting ready to have a match sometime tonight. And then she runs into Alicia Fox, and Emma, um, and they're like, yeah, even when you're at your age, you still have a secret admirer. She just go to your locker room. She goes to the locker room. She sees a present. It's diapers and a walker. And it was pretty obvious that it was Alexa Bliss who sent Mickey those gifts. After last week, she said, you're too old to do this, Mickey. So then Mickey snaps. She goes to the locker room to see Alexa Bliss. But Nia Jax also in there. And I was a little scratching my head first this season thinking, why would Nia Jax be there? Isn't their alliance dead now after, what happened? Like, why would they still have an alliance going on? But she pretty much said she wanted a shot at Alexa, but instead she said she's going to be getting a shot at Nia Jax. So then she accepts it, and that match was coming up later on. And then we had Bray Wyatt come on for a weird promo. He just sits there walking back and forth many times. He kept repeating himself. She never lied to him. He never lied to me. And then and here's all he kept saying, and then he disappears. And then we went into commercial, we came back, and Elias is in the ring. He just played another song about Denver. He was calling Titus O'Neil a clown, his opponent, and then Titus interrupts him. And then they had a match with Elias versus Titus O'Neil, which is a little bit random. I didn't think Titus O'Neil was really into wrestling anymore, since he was more so of like a manager, since he's taken over the Titus Worldwide, which has been kind of meh. He comes out with Apollo Crews, and the match was nothing too special. Elias eventually does get out of the ring, and Apollo Crews just pretty much like snaps at him, and then Elias tries pushing him back, and it looked like Apollo wanted to attack him, but then Elias got back into the ring. He would eventually beat Titus O'Neil with the drift away, and again, nothing too special, but Elias got the win. Like, Elias keeps winning, so obviously they have some plans for him down the line, but it's getting close to time where they need to do something to get him going somehow. Like, give him a reasonable feud, even if it's a pre-show. Well, okay, give him a pre-show match with Apollo, but it looks like him and Apollo may have one more match, even though Elias has already beat him twice now. But we'll see what happens. That's pretty much what it is. We then had an Asuka vignette as well. Advertised she's going to be making her first, making her Raw debut at TLC. And then we had Mickie James versus Nia Jax, and Alexa Bliss came out and stood in her corner. And this was a good match. Again, I was really, I really was digging the promo that they cut last week. It felt real. I was glad to finally see Mickie James get something to do and not just be just a jobber sitting on the side. Because for a while, it's like, why did they bring back Mickie to do nothing with her? And the few matches she had, she seemed like she was very toned down. But this match, it did show that Mickie had some life to her pretty much, and it got me interested. And it did make it seem like she could beat a giant, as in Nia Jax. But then, unfortunately, the match ended in a disqualification. As James was about to hit a tornado DDT, but Alexa Bliss ran in to break it up, and that caused disqualification. And then she was she did kind of give Nia that look of like disappointment that you couldn't take her out. But then afterwards, she stepped out of the ring, and she was caught off guard, and Mickie just took her and just started slamming to the wall, building some heat, and Mickie got a good reaction. The Denver crowd really made their voice heard at times. Denver was a pretty decent crowd tonight. I'll give them that. And she took out Alexa. She was backstage saying that she wants a shot at the Raw Women's Championship, and Kurt Angle gives it to her. So at TLC, we'll be getting Mickie James and Alexa Bliss. I predicted in my TLC match card maybe a ladder match. I don't know. I hope we'll get that, but we'll see. But of course, it ended with Mickie saying to the Kurt, "Oh, it's true. It's damn true." So that match is on. We then had, they showed what happened last week after Raw, which is what we wanted to see happen sometime. Enzo Amore, when he turned heel last week, and then he literally gets the crap beat out of him by Braun Strowman, who laid him out, and then everyone in the Cruiser division just took shots at him, even though Enzo came out with a no contact clause or whatever heck he called it. And if anybody put a finger on them, they would not get any shots at the Cruiserweight Championship. So, they put their hands on. So obviously, no one's gonna get a shot at the Cruiserweight title. But then after this, they had Enzo being interviewed backstage about what happened, and he just stands there, doesn't even say a word, and they just, just cut the interview there and say, "There we go." And then we had a match between Jason Jordan and Matt Hardy versus Gallows and Anderson. The match was all right, nothing too special. Interesting part here was that the club won. Makes you wonder, since Jeff Hardy's going to be out for a while because he just had the shoulder surgery on his rotator cuff injury, maybe more extensive damage. I haven't really looked into the injury any more than what I saw last week. But again, it's with Matt being on his own now until Jeff gets back. Are they going to take advantage of this and maybe finally make Matt broken or whatnot? And that's why they keep losing. But we'll have to wait and see. Finally, it was a night where we felt like Jason Jordan was getting shoved down our throats. So, again, Gallows and Anderson got the win, whatever. It wasn't really anything too spectacular. Just one of those matches that it was what it was. And then Roman Reigns was interviewed backstage as he's getting ready, and he was asked about about what happened with Dean and Seth. And what kind of interested me too was that they kept mentioning the fact that there's rumors of a Shield reunion. And I guess if it's real, people want the Shield reunion. And the only thing that's kind of I'm scratching my head to that. Okay, why would you kind of mentioning it? There's been rumors about the Shield reunion, I know people want it, but it's are you going to make it obvious that it's eventually going to happen by saying that? And to me, it's why don't you just let it happen and not just having the commentators just say, oh, people have been talking about this, people talk about that, but you can just go with what they said here about and then they had Roman interview backstage saying, what do you think? Because in some ways, The Miz did mention it on Miz TV last week, so you can somewhat go along with that. But if the commentary is making it obvious and mentioning it, then that's a little off. Which, by the way, also we had a little bit of a substitute commentary tonight. Tom Phillips was filling in for Michael Cole as he is away at his son's wedding. So congratulations to Michael Cole's son on his marriage. Need a videographer? Just kidding. But then Roman was asked backstage about about the attacks on Dean and Seth, and he says he's not surprised Dean and Seth got attacked because they took the titles and knocked Cesaro's teeth into his brain. But they're big boys. If anything, they're coming up with a strategy for next week. As for Miz tonight, he's not much for complicated strategies. He's going to break the Miz's jaw and leave with the Intercontinental title, which they were also mentioning several times also tonight, that this is the only title that Roman Reigns hasn't won. So I'm glad they're not going to use I'm not saying it's jumping too far, but this could be a reason not to keep pushing the idea of Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns. The reason why it's happening because the Universal title is the only title that Roman Reigns hasn't won. So if they're taking the equation, okay. But I actually did like what they did with Roman. So we'll get to that in a little bit here as well. We're almost there. And then we had this segment with the whole thing with Breast Cancer Awareness Month and the WWE partnering up with the Susan G. Komen Foundation, even though I've heard people saying that, it's not really as good as people make it seem like it be, because, WWE makes all this profit on, but only 10% of that actually goes to the research. A little bit of a shame to hear that, but I don't go into it. But they had this segment honoring, breast cancer victims. I can't really crap on it completely as well, but, it's a good cause, but it would be nice if WWE did donate a little bit more money to it than what it seems like they do. And then we had the match we then had the match I thought at first was going to be the main event, but it made sense of making this the main event, which I'll explain why at the end of this video. It was Roman Reigns versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. I believe this is the first time ever in Roman Reigns' career he's had a shot at the Intercontinental title. So the Miz Taraj comes out, and then as they're announcing the which also Roman Reigns actually got a really nice pop. I think if Roman would have won the title tonight, I think he would have gotten a great reaction. Which it was good to hear that people actually were rooting for Roman. You know, again, I keep worrying that they're going to do something just to shove them down our throats again. But again, he's saying, prove me wrong, WWE. Right, Roman, good. I have no problem. And tonight, I had not much of an issue at all with how they booked Roman. You know, he came out and he did the obvious. Before the match even started, while they're announcing, he just starts taking out Dallas and Axel, showing, you know, these guys are jokes, which they pretty much are. So I'm wondering something else after we get there. But he pretty much takes them both out, uses a chair and such. And, you know, The Miz is just scared to death. You know he's scared. He wants to get out because he knows that he has no chance in beating Roman Reigns at all. And then the match happened between The Miz and Roman Reigns for the Intercontinental title. But the match itself was pretty good. I mean, I liked what we got. You know, it was told a nice story. You know, The Miz, like, you know, try sneaky strategy to, you know, get Roman, like, you know, as beat down as possible, and also to keep him out of the ring, just protecting his Intercontinental title, because he knows if he loses this, you know, if he gets Roman right where he wants him, then that's not going to be good at all. I like the one follow-up he had where Roman went for the Superman punch and The Miz caught him in the skull-crushing finale. You thought Miz was going to win. Roman kicked out of the skull-crushing finale, and The Miz was like, I'm doomed. This is it. I'm doomed. But he stayed in there. He tried fighting still. Roman eventually did him the Superman punch. But Miz kicked out. That's just more of like just like a stunning move. And then the big dog's fired up and calling for the spear. But then here's where the interesting part happens. He gets yanked out of the ring by the bar. Sheamus and Cesaro interfere in the match, causing disqualification. So The Miz changed his title, but then they beat down on Roman. So it was like, okay, Roman took out two of the two guys already that, like, we know that are just complete jokes, in Axel and Dallas, and then he comes out Sheamus and Cesaro, who, you know, random again. Like, I'm still not sure why they're still going after Ambrose and Rollins. I mean, you could say in some cases that, yeah, they did dominate that match at No Mercy, and Rollins and Ambrose, you know, had a good showing, but they didn't look as strong in a match as Cesaro and Sheamus did. So they come out and they start beating down on Roman. And then they leave, and then it looks like they're about to – then they decide to go back, and then Miz is like, okay, thank you guys. This is pretty cool. And it was advertised that next week there's going to be a Miz TV segment with Sheamus and Cesaro. So kind of curious here. I mean, is this pretty much going to be, you know, Roman taking out the two guys? I mean, because I think this is going to lead to Roman gaining the Intercontinental Championship. But at least if they do a Shield reunion at TLC, it looks like it's not going to be against Miz, Axel, and Dallas. It's going to be against it could be against Miz, Sheamus, and Cesaro, which, again, it's random, but I think it'll be a lot better of a match to watch than the Shield and just the Miz Taraj. But we'll talk more about the Shield when we get to the end of this video. But this was good. I liked what we saw here. They even also went as far as doing a triple power bomb, imitating the Shield, doing a triple power bomb. And also, the Miz actually did enter the way the Shield did with the Miz Taraj at the beginning. So it's obviously this feud's more so focused on the Miz and Roman Reigns, but it is trying to get the Shield back together. And again, I guarantee you, probably before the end of the year, Roman will be taking the Intercontinental title off the Miz. And again, I liked what they did with Roman tonight too. You know, they he just came out there, didn't talk at all. He just came out. He took out you know, the two cronies and Axel and Dallas. Then he had a unexpected surprise of Cesaro and Sheamus. But I'll talk a little bit more about Roman at the end. So we have a couple more things to get through. We then had this at first. I'm like, okay, this could be either good or really bad, because Finn Balor comes out, and earlier, Bray Wyatt again had that promo where he's just going forward, like, lying to me, she's lying to me, she lied to me about him, or blah blah blah, whatnot. So I'm like, what the heck does this mean? Because last week it looked like we're continuing this feud between Balor and Wyatt. And if you haven't got a chance yet, please check out the video by my friend Rob Kenobi about an idea he had about a double turn that could help this feud between Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor. The link is, I'll probably leave the link in the description of this video below. But so Balor comes out and he says he doesn't like to come out and talk. He wants to come out and fight. And he said, that's the Bray Wyatt likes to play mind games. And then he's like, last week he got kids singing, but he doesn't buy it. He says, if Bray had the whole world in his hands, he would know what to do with it. So then he says he maybe call himself a god, but if Finn sees Bray for what he really is, he's a coward. He tells Wyatt that he's lost to the demon and he lost to the man, and he's not afraid of him, but it's obvious you can't beat Finn Balor. So if you want to talk still, why not just come out and fight? Bring it on. Come on. So then Bray Wyatt, his noise comes on. Obviously, he's up to something again. I'm like, okay, so just another Wyatt promo will lead to nothing. There's going to be him, embracing Finn Balor. We got something different. It's something I didn't think about would happen. Bray is rocking back and forth his rocking chair in the smoky room, and still going on about her never lying to him, saying she never lied to me. She never lied to me, but Finn, you did. And she warned people about him. Finn lied, saying he was just a man, but he was more than that at No Mercy. As he said, that line that Finn said right before No Mercy, if the demon is created by the man, then who really is stronger? He said the demon is a lie as well. So your true face, he'll do the same. He revealed the demon, and Bray will peel his face back and reveal the truth. And he says, Abigail is a lie, and she is dying to meet you. And then they did this really creepy little effect of wide fade into shadow, and a woman's laugh was double tracking him. So it's obviously teasing that, are we maybe finally, I don't know how this is gonna turn into the feud with if Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor do have one more match at TLC, which I'm not sure what exactly the stipulation would be at this point. I still don't think this should have been just between them. This could have maybe not had Finn Balor, but it was interesting to see, though. Are we finally getting a Sister Abigail character, physical Sister Abigail character in real? And who do you guys think that could be? I've heard rumors, people thought maybe Paige, Ruby Riott. Another one I saw discussions between my friends Daniel Gaiza and also Deluxe Man on Twitter, Sage Beckett as well. I don't know too much about her, or it could be somebody from the Mae Young Classic as well that could embrace that role. We'll have to wait and see, but we'll see what happens next week. Is Sister Abigail coming as a real wrestler? We'll have to wait and see. But it doesn't make sense as to why this feud continue. I don't know why they just didn't do this sooner or later. Even though maybe it probably would not have been so bad if they didn't, drag this feud on for too long. And it's pretty much a fourth match. It's the third on pay-per-view, and Finn's beat him twice on pay-per-view. But this might be something that helps. Because this point, this is something that's going to get us more interested in Bray Wyatt than Finn Balor, honestly. So it could lead to something. We'll have to wait and see. But it was interesting enough that when we continue on seeing what's going on with this next week. Is Sister Abigail on her way? We will have to wait and see. And then we had this really, really boring match. It was Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Emma and Alicia Fox. And there was an interview beforehand showing that Emma says, last week, Nia Jax was not a reliable tag partner, but it's I picked one tonight that will understand me better. And it was Alicia Fox. This match was boring. It was long. It was slow. It took too much time. Last week I didn't mind it when it was Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Emma and Nia Jax. But I think part of the reason also I didn't do this match is it's Alicia Fox. I'm sorry. I've only watched WWE for 4 years. I've never been a fan of Alicia Fox. I do not like, the whole, the whole screeching, like, psychotic thing, it just doesn't appeal to me. It just drives me nuts. I don't like the nail in the coffin was the whole thing with her and Noam Dar and Alicia Fox. Just drove me nuts. This match is boring, went on forever. The match finally ends after, Alicia runs into Emma, knocks the apron. Emma begs to be tagged in. Alicia goes to tag her in, and then Emma's like, "Why? Why would I do this? I don't want to lose to someone like you," and walks out. So yeah, that happened again. It was pointless and boring. But then we get to what was pretty much the main event, was another segment. For the second week in a row, yes, Enzo Amore pretty much main events Raw as the Cruiserweight Champion. And boy, did he cut a great heel promo. He makes his entrance, but when he does it, he doesn't come out and like running around like, yeah. He walks in like, yeah, like this, and does the thing with, "My name is Enzo Amore, da da da," and instead of saying "realest guy in the room," he said "realest champ in the room. How you doing?" So I gotta read. That's why I pull up Cage Side Seats to like help me with the guy remembering what came in order for this review. But I gotta read you like stuff that Enzo, because he really ripped into everyone tonight. He said, like, each and every one of them, one of you guys, the Cruiser division and all, is going to hell. He'll even give them a certified GPS to get them there, and the same GPS he's used to put 205 Live on the map. Not only did he make 205 Live relevant, but he made the main event 2 weeks in a row. And now he says, I made the public enemy as well. He keeps going on about the attack last week before he gets to the "you deserve a chance." Hope the title says, "You're damn right, I deserve this." And he says, and if having success is wrong, then he doesn't want to be right. And he goes on about how people says they're just jealous of him, and how he's carried his division on his back and whatnot. And then he mentions he had another meeting with Kurt Angle today, and he gets another clause out. And this time it is, if any cruiserweights, besides the fact that they have nothing to lose already, are not going to get any title shots, but if they didn't put their hands on him tonight, then they will be fired. And this is around the time he's like, something around, actually he says the other line about him sitting on his throne, one where his opponents are gone and they're all lucky. He said, and if they want to come out here and break this clause again and be fired, and there's only one word to describe you, STWFT, that jazz. But then the rest of the cruiserweights come out and pretty much corner end zones, like they're all about to beat the crap out of him. But then Neville literally goes around and just and just brutalizes all of them, just, making fun of each and every one of them and just bullying them somewhat. And I really thought the brawl was going to escalate when he got to Neville, because Neville was last, and Neville had his look on his face like, "You are such a loser. I'm just going to kick the crap out of you." Pretty much that look on his face. It was priceless. But then Kurt Angle came out, and he says, "Yeah, it is true that it's damn true." He didn't say that, but he said, "You're right. None of these cruiserweights can get a title match. And yes, if they do a tag unit, they'll be fired." He says, "But there's one though who isn't along on this case." And he says, it's who the newest signing to the cruiserweight division. I'm like, okay, who can this possibly be? Because I was lost first. I'm like, okay, who can they possibly do this? And I know people weren't like, oh, it's so and so, but me, I'm like, finally they're giving him something to do, because I like the guy they brought out. I like him. He's a good talent. He was just directionless and lost in the shuffle. When they brought him over to Raw and the Superstar Shakeup, I'm like, let's just put him in the cruiser division. His former tag team partner, I think, should be in there as well. They want to give him some direction as well, even though he's probably nearly out the door. But Kalisto is finally a part of the cruiser division. I'm like, okay, this is a fresh matchup, a fresh feud for the cruiser division. He comes out and just attacks Enzo, finishes him off with the Selena Del Sol pretty much. So I'm thinking, okay, this is how the show going to end, like how it last week, and it's kind of like, not the biggest, Kalisto's in the cruiser division. It's like, that's not really a big capper. But we had a backstage segment. Roman Reigns is sitting there. He's all beat up and such after, what The Miz, Sheamus, and Cesaro did to him just an hour earlier. And then all of a sudden, Dean Ambrose walks up to him. Reigns just gets up and just they just like look at each other, and Rollins then walks up, and everybody's chanting, you know, Shield, Shield, Shield. It's like, you know, if it was a feel good moment. Again, for me personally, it's just me worrying inside that they're just doing this to shove Roman back down our throats, and we're going to try to force this on us, and it's going to be just like how it was last year with Seth Rollins and Roman just, you know, turning the page so quickly and acting like nothing happened. I mean, I like how they built it up for Rollins and Ambrose to get back on the same page again. So now it's time to get the big dog together as well. And then they just looked at each other pretty much, and then they walked away. It's like, think about it. We could possibly do this. Now, the thing I'm wondering, though, is, like, is Roman, though, having doubts? Like, Roman keeps, like, you know, mentioned, but Roman's like, you know, oh, they're doing their own thing. I'm doing my thing, blah, blah, blah. But is Roman secretly, you know, having doubts about getting back together? Which, to me, it wouldn't quite make sense, though, because he already did pretty much, I mean, him and Dean, and they never really had any issues. They're still buddies. But Dean and Roman and Seth, though, it's like, you know, they pretty much, you know, let bygones be bygones, like, just like that last year, and they were just fine. So it could have been more so that, like, yeah, we're going to do this next week or whatnot, or we're going to do this. But we'll see. Like, you know, if Roman still is having these doubts on us, what it seems. But that's how Raw went off the air. A great hook to make you want to see next week's show, as well as we'll probably get something of that on the Miz TV segment involving Cesaro and Sheamus. Again, could this possibly be, you know, the Miz, you know, realizing that, you know, Axel and Dallas weren't really much to him at all? Could, you know, I don't know if it would do any good for Axel and Dallas, but it could be the Miz, like, you know, forming a new Miz-tourage, having Sheamus and Cesaro be by his side instead of Axel and Dallas, since they're, you know, strong competition. Which, I mean, I would rather see Miz, Sheamus, and Cesaro against the Shield at TLC. But again, I just hope they don't write this as it feels like it's being forced. If they write it good, I have no problem at all. I want to see the Shield. I love all three of the guys. Again, it's just Roman's still a little bit of like the factor here. It's like, you know, I want to root for Roman, but they're going to book him like crap. Then I don't want to root for him. Like tonight, you know, I thought that the booking him was just fine. You know, just a silent badass, went out there, didn't talk, just beat the crap out of everybody. That's all he needed to do. But that's how Raw went off the air, and that is it for this live review of Monday Night Raw. Before I get to my grade for the show, let me look at Twitter to see what grades were given, what grades people gave this show as well. So we got 6 votes, and we have some mixed results. We have 33% saying A, 17% saying B, 33% saying C, and 17% saying D. That was 6 votes. We pretty much had, you know, 2, 2, 1, and 1. So some mixed results from tonight's episode of Raw. I will be honest, you know, it wasn't a good show. It wasn't a bad show. It was an okay show. And it was better than last week's episode. But most of the stuff that was good was good. I enjoyed it. The stuff that wasn't good, the only thing that I thought was complete garbage was that women's tag match with Sasha and Bayley and Emma and Alicia. But like the other stuff that was like more so meh, it wasn't anything, you know, terrible, but it could lead to something. So that's why I want to give Raw a B- tonight. That's my grade for Raw, a B-. What grade would you give Raw? Leave your thoughts in the live chat or in the comments section as well. And that will wrap up this video. Again, as always, please click that like, subscribe for more content to come to this channel. Make sure to also follow me on Twitter at DemandAirboy93. What's the plan for the rest of this week? Tomorrow night, I will not be able to review SmackDown Live like right after the show. I have other plans tomorrow, so I'll most likely be reviewing SmackDown sometime later on Wednesday. I'm just not able to do it tomorrow. I'll probably try to review NXT as well. Tomorrow, I will maybe try to do my review of WrestleMania 2. I was able to watch that last night. I just had a little bit of a crazy day today. And then also either Wednesday or Thursday, I also want to get done WWE Top 10 Topics because this weekend I am actually going to be going out of town for a work gig. So again, I'm not sure if I'll be able to watch Hell in a Cell Sunday night after I get off work. If I do, I'll probably watch it at my hotel, and if I have time, maybe I'll review it from my hotel. If not, I will review Hell in a Cell as soon as I get back. Monday night, I'll be back home probably later Monday. So that's the plan for the rest of this week. Again, I know some might be cluttered in. I'm going to keep reviewing WrestleMania as I do my WrestleMania review series as well. Make sure to check those out as well. Make sure to also check out my TLC predicted match card as well. I've been getting a lot of views on that, and it's only been up for 3 or 4 days now. I already have almost 4,000 views on it, which is pretty nice. I'd like to see that get 10,000 views if we can. Haven't had a card get that many views in a while. Especially my No Mercy card, I was a little disappointed in that. And my Hell in a Cell card has been a little mad as well. But 2,000 some views, but slowly, increasing. So I like to get another high viewed card out there. It's bringing me up in subscribers as well. I'm up to let me see, where am I at now? I think 716 last I saw. Pretty cool, but let's continue to get this channel growing, guys. All right, guys, that is it. I am checking out. I will see you all later. Until then, have a great night.